Bearders, weirdos, boils and ghouls, how are we all doing? If you're waiting for a funny debunking video, this ain't it. I'm a little bit annoyed. And I'm a little bit annoyed because when I first started, I annoyed a lot of people. Kinda toxic. Wasn't as toxic as people made out, but I made my mistakes and I owned those mistakes and I admitted to those mistakes. I've tried to steer my community in a better way. There are certain people no longer part of this community because of toxicity and nastiness and horrible stuff. No name calling, no shock calling, no calling people out by name. If they want to go and be toxic elsewhere, feel free. But 9 times out of 10, the other channels are following suit because the toxicity we worked so hard to get rid of started to rear its head as soon as 2024 began. And now people are jumping on the debunkers are toxic thing again. And there is no need for it. The debunkers are not toxic. Their communities are not toxic. The debunking community at large is not toxic. It is far easier for certain channels and fan bases of channels to label us all as toxic, to cover up for the fact that the creators they are supporting, on the most part, are lying, scamming, and toxic themselves. Nobody has ever said, this debunker sent me a death threat. A lot of debunkers have had death threats. Not off channels. Well, I did. Yeah, actually I did. But what's really got my back up now is channels that I have supported that have just sort of turned on all debunkers because one video exists calling them out. Well, now it's 2. So, and there's another thing I'm going to tack on to the end of this because it falls in line. So if you don't know, Mythos last week brought out what is frankly a great video, where he asks questions of the Foreman brothers. Why is that shadow on the stairs? You're claiming to be in the house on your own. Why can I hear movement? Why do you look to your left just before something moves? Originally I had a very different video planned and I sort of agreed with Mythos, but then said, if the Foreman brothers release the unedited raw footage, you may have to make an apology there. And I spoke to Mythos about this, and Mythos was like, yeah, cool. If I'm wrong, I will apologise and I will tell everyone that I'm wrong. And then I tacked a bit onto the end of that video, which has since been deleted because the Shape has also covered it, and I don't want to keep rinse-repeat other people's content. So then what happened is I tacked on a bit about the comment section, because the Foreman brothers were in the comment section. Only you can't see those comments now because they've deleted them. And maybe it's because I went off a little on my live stream on Tuesday night this week, because in the comments section they claimed that they were being attacked by the debunkers. I have seen them comment on other paranormal investigation channels that the debunkers are all toxic, all horrible, all stealing content. But luckily, somebody saved a screenshot of this conversation from official Paranormal Nightmare TV, and they responded with, "Thank you for your comment. I wish these debunkers would quit stealing people's videos so they can profit from the stole video. It's stolen. Yeah, I would just report them first saying that they stole somebody's video. Careful. Then I would block them. I don't support someone stealing someone else's property for their profit and spreading hate and bullying people. I can go on and on. Sent X person a message below on you. It's a bit long about debunkers if you wish to read." So the comment he mentions there, it doesn't really apply to us. What is really pissing me off now is, because a debunker has said something that they don't agree with, instead of being like, oh, you have a point about that shadow, let us show you the raw footage so we can counter-argue it, and we can counter-argue it respectfully and all the rest of it, they're calling us content thieves and bullies and spreading hate. You released a video where there are some questionable things in there. And let's not forget, you were involved in the, oh my gosh, 16 teams of fakery bullshit that happened a couple of months ago. And a lot of people have been questioning you since then. I haven't questioned you since then. I have been very open to you guys. I have been very kind to you guys. I even had a video where I was glowing in positivity for you guys on how you help people. I wasn't a content thief then. But now somebody has dared go up against the mighty Foreman brothers. Content thieves, bullies, haters. You are twisting the narrative to get yourself out of shit. And it reeks. It reeks. You have been in my live streams for the last few Fridays, and my fan base are like, I can't believe Paranormal Nightmare in you. I can't believe they're in you. I can't believe how cool they're being to you. And that stemmed because I went at the Angry Cajun for being toxic to paranormal investigation teams, whether they're real or fake, because the name calling, the mocking, the fat shaming and stuff, that's a step above and beyond any of the bad things that I have ever done. You call us content thieves for using clips of your videos. We don't play it in its entirety, we use clips, which is allowed by YouTube. So report away, because then we can counter-argue and we can counter-fight back with copyright law states if a video is transformative, reactionary, or educational, we are allowed. Mythos' video covers all three of those things. He's transforming your narrative, he has his own camera overlaid in places, he pauses, he discusses, he's educating on what he thinks really happened in that video, whether that is right or wrong. And he is reacting to content you have put out on what is essentially a free platform, YouTube. You have been singing my praises in my live streams, yet I have seen your comments other places slating all debunkers. Now, with the greatest of respect, Paranormal Nightmare, even the Shape has treated you with kid gloves. He did his most recent video where he was like, no violent animations, none of it. We are just going to look into what Mythos has uncovered. And because you don't like that, we're suddenly bullies, toxic, nasty, all these words that, I'm sorry to say, constantly thrown around by the fake paranormal community. It is their get out of jail free card to make people feel sorry for them and hate us. And it is bullshit. And being good old Christian boys isn't lying against everything you stand for. You want to help these families, help them by showing the raw footage that will prove that this debunker, Mythos, in this case was wrong. You haven't done that. You started World War III, and you started it by calling him toxic, nasty, and horrible. He asked questions. Did he have a bit of joviality about him? Yes, he did. Look, they've caught a demon. Look, they've caught a demon. But he asked questions, and I had a private conversation with him where I said, if they release that raw footage, are you willing to say you were wrong? And he said, yes, I will issue a full apology and I will take the video down. And I responded with, I knew that would be the answer. Cool. Because that's how all of us behave. Now, I have stuck up for the Foreman brothers. I have released positive reviews on the Foreman brothers. I don't stand to gain anything by standing against them on these comments. I'll probably lose subscribers for standing against them, and I don't care. You can't twist a narrative and call a full community and a full group of content creators all of these things because one of them didn't agree with something you said, or one of them questioned a video you put out. As soon as you put a video out onto YouTube, it is a free-for-all. It is absolutely a free-for-all for everyone to form an opinion of your public videos in a public space. I myself, when I started, as I said earlier, made mistakes. I said some pretty horrible things about people, and I've apologised to those people. There are other people that I will never ever apologise to because they are scam artists. And I'm talking about the types that never leave their house, claim they're under demonic attack, and they ain't. Content creators. You guys have been on everyone's radar for quite a while, since the Omar thing, and a few people have emailed me, you need to watch this Foreman Brothers video, you need to watch this Foreman Brothers video. And I genuinely hoped that nobody would ever catch you because of the help that you give to people. You had a lot of the debunkers' respect, and I dare say maybe some people turned a blind eye to certain things because we were worried about the damage that catching you guys out would do. The difference is what Mythos has found is concrete, unless you release that raw video footage. And instead of that, you've gone into attack mode whilst accusing the debunkers and the debunking community of attacking you. Nobody has attacked you. Nobody has made any violent animations about you. Nobody has threatened you. Nobody is making any personal remarks at you. So tell me how you feel victimized and all the rest of it, because your comments and how you've behaved to me are contradicting each other. And I will not stand for it. My channel is now, whether you like it or not, the largest debunking channel. And I feel the need to look after the debunking community. There are people now that my channel has overtaken that are my peers. The guys that I looked up to, the guys that I learned from. And whether we agree on everything or not is besides the point. The point is that the real paranormal now has a voice on the internet. The fake paranormal is now being called out on the internet. It has done for a few years, and the defense is never fact. The defense is always, they're picking on me, they're bullying me. I cannot believe that you good old Christian boys have gone straight into the dirty tactics of twin paranormal. Worse than that, you have told people, and I'll quote you here, I would just report them first that they've stolen someone's video. You are not allowed to do that on YouTube terms of service. What you have done there is try to get mass reportings on channels. And if people start mass reportings and we content creators fight back, you will be in more trouble than you've just attempted to get us into. Nobody wanted a war with you. People were questioning your content. People have been questioning the use of apps and questioning the fact that you have worked with larger teams that are known for being fake. And people have rightly questioned, have you worked with these teams and have you started spicing up your content to grow your channel faster? That's not toxic, that's not nasty, that's not horrible. They are questions. And these are questions that I have been asked in emails and in comments about your channel from your subscribers. So what, are your subscribers that question you now toxic and nasty and horrible, or are you going to blame the debunkers for that as well? Just Friday, you were in my live stream after Mythos' video had dropped, and you were saying how wonderful I was, how this is a great community, how you like to support the good guys. So how come just a few days later, all of us are toxic, all of us are nasty? Now, you could clear up your video simply by uploading the raw footage, because maybe it's your own shadow from wherever the bathroom is, and you've moved on the toilet seat or whatever you were sat on, and that's what's caused that shadow. All of your actions since Mythos broke that video out just stink of we got caught faking, because you have behaved exactly like all the other guys that do pull this crap, and it ain't on. Nobody has attacked you. I saw those original comments that you made on Mythos' video, that you have been attacked by the debunkers, by the debunking community. Nobody has attacked you. You have been treated far more fairly than other people, because all of us debunkers have gone, they help people. Let's give them a bit of leeway. Let's not be as on them as we are. The Shape's newest video is proof of that. In with accusing us of controlling narrative, stealing content, and being toxic, you have just highlighted yourselves for all of those things, because what is good for the goose is good for the gander. You cannot tell people we are toxic, horrible, and content thieves just because you don't like the outcome of somebody watching one of your videos. The word toxic, the word hate, and the words content theft, they just thrown about like a throwaway sentence, but that hurts people. That damages people's reputations. Your reputation has been damaged because of a dodgy video you put out. And the more people are looking, the more people are finding on you guys. And I expect that people are going to fight back a lot harder than what I'm doing here. And there's going to be more videos made on you guys, because you've just proved that you don't know how to behave. I recently brought out a video on Taps, Ghost Hunters, where I called one of their members a fake, where I said he pulled that string inside of a coat to fake. One of the originators of that channel, of that TV show, put out a video where he countered some of my arguments, he agreed with some of them, and was like, you know, the man's got a point. And I called his daughter a faker. And he said, I haven't seen fakery myself, but he has a right to question. He has a right to ask. That is one of the originators, one of the big three of TV show paranormal stuff, online paranormal content. And you can behave like that. You had to go straight down the route of, I'm being picked on because I don't like what's being said. The problem you have is, what is being said is quite possibly very true. I would have loved to have had your backs over this, to see the raw footage and say, do you know what, Mythos? You were wrong. You absolutely got this wrong. But I can see why you thought what you thought, because it looks like there's a second person in that house. I understand it. You haven't done that. You've gone into attack mode whilst accusing us of attacking to save your own asses. I don't like it. I unsubscribed from you guys. A channel that I enjoyed, that I publicly said I enjoyed. A channel that I have said they do a lot of good. I saw them debunk a child that was apparently possessed as a child that needed help, and they tried to get that child help. And you've labelled me and lumped me in with bullies, toxicity, attacks, and content theft. Before you call somebody content thieves and tell people to mass report, which is what you've done in that comment, you need to check the terms of service. You need to check exactly what reaction, you need to check exactly what educational, transformative content creation is allowed to do. But you know those rules because you are fully happy for Casperside to use your video in its entirety because he is bigging you up, saying positive things. But somebody disagrees with you. Oof. For months I've had people saying, I've questioned the Foreman brothers on this video and they've deleted my comment. Well, I can't see that deleted comment, so, you know, without screenshots, I can't argue their case. And nobody's ever sent me anything definitive to come at you guys. But now I've seen how you behave, those stories are probably true. I am really, really disappointed in your actions and your reaction to this. You should have behaved like grown-up. You should have behaved like the grown-ups you are. Not the kids that you've recently worked with. You've let me down. You've let a lot of your fan base down. You've let down the debunking community because the debunking community and the real paranormal community should be side by side. And that's where I stand on the Foreman brothers and their content now. I'm done with it. Next up, PSI. You know, PSI Paranormal Investigators. Paranormal Scientific Investigators. Paranormal Investigators. That's the name. They've recently put out Toxic Communities. Toxin Debunking Community Groups. Now, Mark has left a comment on my live or one of my community posts because I went at this a little bit. Because I don't like the entire community being branded like this. You see, you've said things like, people have made horrible comments about people's personalities, appearances, and, you know, getting too personal instead of just debunking. And this is coming from the fan base. Mark, you put out a lot of content where you insulted Smug Puppy. His appearance, his cleanliness, you know, whether it's between he said, she said, about whether you took the mick out of his disability. I don't think you did. But the way he read it, he was insulted by it. And he has that right when you went at him quite hard. It was quite toxic of you. And now suddenly, you know, that Facebook page are toxic. Are they? Because I have seen the mods on there show no favoritism to even the biggest of content creators on that channel. If they step out of line, if they get toxic, which I once did, I posted a screenshot and was like, look at this fucking idiot. They deleted my comment. They don't have a big moderation team and it is quite a big Facebook page. Sometimes things slip through the net, but they learn and the moderation team start to remove comments and start to tell people how they expect people to behave, and the rules change with how people's behaviour changes. They are trying. But you've just been like, nah, I've taken 2 looks and it's disgusting in there. And then you put toxic communities as your thumbnail, toxic debunking community groups as the video title. And people just skimming past that are going to go, PSI were in the debunking community. They were debunkers. And they think they're toxic. Well, congratulations. We appreciate that. Because we had your backs. A lot of us shouted you boys out. Now, Mark and Tony are both incredibly nice people. I have met them in real life and I enjoyed their company. I enjoyed the way they investigate. But again, kids in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. They have made some videos where they have said some things that toe the line. In fact, Mark outwardly said, I'm not debunking anymore because of the toxicity. He released an expletive-filled rant from inside of his car about Twin Paranormal. It's not very Christian of you. You have gone at Smug Puppy and you have gone at Twin Paranormal quite hard. I have gone at Twin Paranormal hard. But I don't then call everyone that comes against me toxic. You know, the ones that are threatening to kill me and the ones that are calling me big fat beardo weirdo and I hope you die and I hope you end up under a bus and I hope you get hit by a car. All those comments, they are toxic. And you boys know the shit that I have had to endure on this journey as a debunker. We shouted you out, we tried to carry you alongside us, and then you were like, we're not debunkers anymore. There'll be the odd debunk, but we're not debunkers. And then your community dropped off because the debunkers sent the debunking community to you. And it almost feels like this is just a reaction for the sake of a reaction to farm in views on a community you were once proud to be part of, and a community that you behaved a lot like. According to you, we are toxic, or the community, or certain pockets of the community are toxic, yet you have behaved in the exact same way. I've done it, and I've made my apologies. There are certain channels that I'll never apologise to because they scam artists, and you know who they are, and you agree with me on that. You've probably sat there and laughed when I'm calling Lee a tit. Probably quite a toxic thing to say. Good for the goose, good for the gander. I don't have TikTok, but I've been sent a TikTok link from your TikTok, where you illegally doxed Smug Puppy. Now everyone knows his name is Neil. He'll tell us his name is Neil. You gave up too much information. And let's not forget what you did to Purple, where you took a video that Smug Puppy released saying that Purple was great, even though he was debunking them. And, you know, they were putting entertainment in their videos, and they slated some other channels. You and me. And what did you do there? You cut everything to do with Purple out of that video, and then claimed it as your own. That's not really fair. That's not fair at all. That's not very Christian of you. And whilst you apologised to Purple in private, there was no public apology. There was no, you know, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have cut Purple out of that video because, I mean, why did you cut Purple out of that video? And I've asked Purple's permission, and Purple has agreed for me to bring this up. Why? Because you've just called certain pockets of our communities toxic. What, are you trying to get on board with certain bigger channels now because the debunking community has kind of left you to one side? I can't support two guys. I mean, I don't know if it's both of you or just Mark. I can't support two guys that will call people toxic after they had to take a video down and take a break from YouTube because of their expletive-filled rant at Twin Paranormal, Sam and Colby, and their fan bases. I look forward to working with you guys in the future. I liked the idea behind some of your experiments. Some of them I didn't particularly enjoy, but, you know, who am I? I haven't been doing this as long as you. I'm not part of the Warren Foundation. I'm not particularly a fan of the Warren Foundation because, you know, the guys it's named after were con artists. You know, the first time I watched your Gansfield experiment, I was like, this is really interesting. This is something different. And then I looked a bit harder and I was like, you slate the Estes method, and that's pretty much what you're doing, but with a strobe light and ping pong balls over your eyes. And then I looked further into it, and the strobe effect with the red light to the one side and the constant white noise in a dark room and all the rest of it, it can cause hallucinations. That then isn't a paranormal experiment. That then is recorded hallucinations. And you had the guy in the background of your video that I offered to help out when he had death threats because he made a fake video, and then when I looked into that, he didn't make a fake video to test the internet. He made a fake video to get TikTok famous, and when he got called out for it and he sat in the background of your videos, he changed his tune. Never came to me for the help I offered because I thought he was being unjustly treated. But hey, what would I know? I'm just part of a toxic community because I've said some toxic things. So have you. I admit my faults, and then I try not to trample on others who have made mistakes. I'll try to educate a little bit. I've given Mythos a little bit of advice when he's coming up. The Side-Eye guy has asked me some advice on certain things, and Wacka Wacky at one point, I messaged him and I was like, you've made a mistake in that video. It was nothing that he called out. It was something he said. A joke he made, and I was like, you need to get shot of that because it could be interpreted the wrong way. We have to be careful how we are perceived. He didn't tell me to piss off. He took that section of his video and then thanked me and was like, yeah, that was a bit close to the bone. That could have been taken wrong. I don't understand why you guys have turned the way you have turned. You systematically keep crapping on teams that I enjoy with these little digs. You little things like, just because it's abandoned doesn't mean it's haunted. We know. We go to these places and 9 times out of 10 come out of it and say, that wasn't haunted. Nothing there. Completely dead. It just stinks. But I keep seeing these little digs, and I keep seeing you rubbishing other people's investigation techniques. Why? What do you stand to gain from it? I understand that you disagree with things, but you rubbish it, and you're like, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, that doesn't work. I don't do that to you. When we met, I was like, I am not a religious man, guys, I'm sorry. I don't have to apologise for that, but I felt like I had to. And you guys were very like, we don't expect anyone to be religious, and, you know, you're your own person, and that's cool. Right. So don't rubbish other people's investigation techniques just because you don't agree with them. Because you claim to be scientific investigators. There is no science into the paranormal. There is no science into ghost hunting. None of your methods are proven. There are no proven methods at all. We are all, for the most part, just stumbling about in the dark, looking for answers. And who knows, one of the things that you have rubbished may be the one thing that proves that the paranormal is real. Or maybe one of your experiments that I might think is rubbish, or somebody else might think is rubbish, maybe the proof that we need. We don't know. We may never know. But there is no need to go calling out communities. You haven't been provoked. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I enjoy your guys' content. I enjoy your investigations. You're very good investigators. You weren't so good at the debunking. You made a few mistakes. And you got called out for it. And you responded with, they're being toxic. The exact same thing that I've just had to go at another channel that I respected. Because the Foreman brothers have just done the same thing you guys have done in the past. And I'm done with it. So guys, if you're sat there like, I like the Foreman brothers, I like PSI, I can't believe Beardo has spoken up against them. I said from day one, I have always from day one rubbed people up the wrong way, say what's on my mind, and I'll always say what's on my mind. And I will defend this community. And I'll defend the pockets of the community. There are some toxic people that are long gone from my channel and my community. The community at large, they're being pushed out of them. But I see those people in your communities. And you've addressed that. You've said some of the toxicity is coming from your own community, PSI. And I respect that. I know who they are because they were once part of this community. Now they hate my guts because I spoke my mind, or because I spoke about a channel that they liked. Swings and roundabouts. So, to the community at large, try not to pay any attention to the claims of toxicity, attacking, and all the rest of it. You are allowed an opinion. You are allowed to look at a video and say, I think that's fake. You are allowed to look at a debunker's content and go, do you know what? They're right, that channel is full of it. You are also allowed to look at a debunker's content and go, you're wrong. I believe that channel over you. I don't think that they are faking. I think you've got that wrong. You're absolutely allowed to do that. These claims of toxicity for growth and to protect oneself, it's all got to stop because it's not doing either side any good at all. If you have a problem with a content creator making a video about your content and it being called fake, then prove that it's not with raw, unedited footage. If your issue is with a very small pocket or a minority of people on a certain group, don't make a video about it. Go and approach the admin, because that wasn't even a YouTube drama for you to bring over. Most of us debunkers tell people, don't go into other channels spouting hate. Don't go into other channels being negative. Don't go into other... And then these videos are made, coming from within inside people that were considered part of the community. And that sucks. And Mark, while I appreciate that you have apologised and said it's only a small group of people, you didn't need to make a video about it. You certainly didn't need to put toxic debunking community groups as your title, because you have just labelled all of us, because I am in those groups, and I have argued with people in those groups, and they have argued with me in those groups. It's just wrong. There was no need for that video. You could have approached the owners of those groups, or the moderators of those groups, and you didn't. You tried to get clicks and views off it. Very disappointing day to see two teams that I enjoyed, two teams that I respected, and two teams I'd sung praises for just crapping on the debunking community. It is unfair, it is unjust, and considering both of you, your channels are Christian, it's not very Christian of you. And finally, before we end, nearly at 30,000 subscribers. The debunking community on a whole, the live streams are wholesome, enjoyable, fun, funny. There's more and more live streams, there's more and more content, there's more and more things away from debunking being created by debunkers in the debunking community. People are getting their art and their music used in debunking videos and all the rest of it because people want to contribute. It's a fantastic, fun, wholesome, loving community. And I will defend that community to the hilt. And I will defend the channels therein. The only one that I have ever gone against, and I will continue to say he's not a debunker, is the angry guy. Because he's not a debunker, he's a shit talker, and he gets way too personal with people. That we don't need. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. No hate to any side. If you bring it here, I'm just going to fire back, and you ain't going to enjoy it. Much love to you all. And I mean all. Beardo out.